Greetings. So here's the question. K through 12 basically teaches you a bunch of things that you're never going to use in any realistic situation. So what would you eliminate to make it easier for kids to advance more quickly? Like if you only focused on the essentials of education, things you're realistically going to use in your life, and then got kids into the trades, they'd be far better prepared. So the question is, what would you eliminate? Well, I'll go over what my thoughts are on it. All right, Freedom Phil likes to describe. Let's get into it. It's simple as this. In my opinion, stuff like art's beautiful, but if you're really an artist, you'll find a way. Like, look, when you're making like clay bowls and finger painting and stuff, like them clay bowls, like I remember in high school, some of my buddies were making bongs just because they were bored. And the teacher thought it was funny because the hippie art teacher, right? But like, really, did those hours spent learning how to mold some clay like that, did that get anybody I know a job? And the answer is no. Maybe one person out of 1,000, but that's not a good use of time and money. Music, I know, soft spot for it too. I love it too, but I don't know anybody who learned how to play the trumpet or the trombone or the tuba that basically got that high paying 100K per year job, unless they were so good they got into like some symphony or something, which that's just like the sports thing. How many people do you really know actually get somewhere? I think a lot of what we do as far as the music programs is antiquated, and I think if you're truly a musician, you will find a way. And a good example of this is look at people who never had any proper training that became great musicians. Surprise, happens all the time. People that are dedicated, they'll learn because they want to learn. But forcing kids into this crap, total waste of money and time. History is something I really enjoy, but did I ever get a job because I knew I knew Washington history? And the answer is no. Never came up, not once. I mean, geography, like to some degree, I agree with that. It's good to know these things, but not really. I don't see anybody getting a job over that. But knowing your base, knowing how to use a map, that's useful. Knowing how to get around, and in modern age, even like the concept of a map is kind of a funny thing, right? Because you're like, oh, we just use our cell phones. Cell phone does the work for us. And then that's another good one. Sports. Love sports. But someone knowing how to throw a football or move a hockey puck or a baseball, most people are never going to get anywhere with that. And I think that should be something that's privately sponsored. Like if the parents want to have a stadium or have these athletic things, then they can pay for it. If the people want that stuff, they can pay for it. But this idea that you take, tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars per year to support these athletic programs, and you waste these people's time. I mean, you're like, well, what about, getting some athletic, PE or stuff like that? I'm kind of 50-50 on that. Like going outside and having a little outdoor time, sure, I'm fine with that. But like a lot of it's just like how much of the day throughout your kids' K through 12 education is literally just time filler, because there's only a few things that are really actually essential. You need to know how to read, write, speak the language. Maybe I'd say learn how to speak another language. Like, hey, we're in America. Latinos are right down south there. Maybe learn Spanish. And China's a big player these days. Might want to learn Mandarin. These are actually things you could probably use at some point, But read, write, basic levels of mathematics. I think high levels of mathematics, like anything above 8th grade, like your basic levels of mathematics, it's just a fucking waste of your children's time. They're never going to be on the job site using the trigonometry. They're never going to be using that algebra. Like maybe once or twice in their life just for entertainment value, but it's not going to happen. And so effectively teaching kids a higher level of math. And then people say, what about if you want to go to, become a scientist or something? Sure. Then you learn it. Take the extracurricular, take the courses and learn it. And the time that they didn't waste on all that other crap frees you up to learn all those higher mathematics, And then science. I love science. But do I think the average citizen really needs to know how things work? Because I'm going to tell you, most of them don't even remember. They don't care. They're not scientifically curious whatsoever. So the time that you spend teaching them some science and biology, geology or some other crap, I'm being real. I'm just being honest. They would have been better off learning how to turn a wrench or learning coding, how to be the next great programmers, electrician, plumber, and just as a guaranteed backup for as long as it's still a thing, because eventually automated vehicles will eventually become good enough. Teach them how to drive a truck. You can teach somebody that skill in about a month's worth of time. and they will have a job guaranteeably that will pay them goddamn good money, considering all you do is sit on your ass and stay between the two lines and learn how to back up. What I'm getting at with this is that if we were teaching our kids from a younger age, like imagine cutting out all the wasted um, fake education, faux education crap, you know, and they, instead of having like one or two grades or one grade a year, you could have a kid that with the math, the science, the reading, and, you know, unquestionably with the science, the basic essential education, they could have 2 or 3 grades done a year. And the goal is, I thought the goal was to educate these children, but let's be honest, it's really not that. I think a lot of the goal is just to give a daycare system for average people so both parents will go to work. And with both parents going to work, then because there's two incomes coming in, you can up the price of everything, make it cost more. And then the further thing is that a lot of how much of the education system is really not preparing you for life. Because once again, K through 12 educate your children good enough to be people who can stock shelves and flip hamburgers with no extra major curricular activity, no mechanics classes or carpentry or stuff. You know, those things will actually maybe help you get a job somewhere someday somehow. Um, your basic K through 12 education is good enough to stock shelves and flip hamburgers. So what they're setting you up for is going into something else, like maybe the military, but most likely they want you to go to college. Everybody's got to go to college. Well, now college is the new high school, or people get out and the bachelor's is barely enough. Now you need a master's. Oh, you need a PhD. So it's not about having your kids ready to roll in the real world, because last time I checked, we have a lack of plumbers, electricians, but these are jobs that pay goddamn good money. And yet, you know, we have people that are out of, you know, out of mid 20s out of college, and they still can't get a decent gig. That doesn't sound like the one that pisses me off, and I guess it's a self-inflicted wound, so I can't be so pissed. But it is kind of a crime that we actually take the public's money and loan it to people to go get medieval history major, you know, lesbian basket weaving, you know, like some crazy crap that you hear, like God, what was the one that was the biggest joke in the world? The something arts. I can't remember which one it was, but the point of it is that there should be something at the end of it. And by the way, just a side note, how much money is pissed away on this K through 12? This state here I'm in right now, this little remodel I'm working on here and there, $9,000 a year for K through 12 education, $9,000 per child. Back where I grew up in Western Washington, for K through 12, $19,500. If you were to take that same amount of money, put it in the S&P or the index, or even just buy some land somewhere, your children will be better set up for the rest of their life. We're talking in Western Washington, we're talking over what, $250,000 for 13 years of faux education. I mean, literally, there's places in America you could buy 5 houses with $250,000. So, you know, when you look at what they spend to have your kids allegedly educated, and then how much time of their life they waste, that should get you thinking that maybe there's some stuff we need to cut out of there. And other countries are figuring this out. They're not teaching their kids a bunch of crap that won't get them employed or a job. They're teaching them how to be functional so they can get ahead in life. And that's our competition long run. So, I don't know. This is Freedom Phil. I've talked on this for a while. It's my thoughts. I think education system needs to be cut and made to something that's efficient, that actually works. And yeah, what's your thoughts? Like, subscribe, take it easy.